really matter. All the practice tests are exactly the same, right? They're all going to be videoed now, so we'll be all set. So here we go. Number one, simplify. So this is our simplify section. So I want you to tell me what ideas you have about simplifying these guys. What thoughts do you have? Samantha's got a hand up.
Okay, I'm kind of forgetting what it's called, but doing like 3 minus sign x and 3 plus sign x.
You don't have to remember what it's called as long as you remember how to do it. She says I'm going to factor the numerator as the difference of squares. So it's 3 minus sign and 3 plus sign. My denominator is sign plus 3. Now, in addition, aren't these two the same? Now, subtraction, they wouldn't be. But in addition, since it's commutative, those two are the same. So the answer to the question is 3 minus sign. Good job, Samantha. All right, what about the second one? Kennedy? Cotangent, thank you. We'll change cotangent into, it is cosine over sine. So we have cosine over 1 times cosine over sine. These two are multiplied, plus sine over 1. Now, please don't cancel these. Do you understand why these do not cancel? That is a plus. And the only way you can cancel them is at a time. So here you could cancel if anything did, but it doesn't. So this is cosine squared over sine plus sine over 1. Well, what do we want to do with that? Nothing cancels. That's plus.
Common denominator.
Get a common denominator. We have 2 fractions being added together. Right? So we're going to get a common denominator. So what's our common denominator going to be? Sine. So we're going to multiply this one by a sine. This one we don't have to do anything with because it's already a sine. So the denominator is sine. What's the numerator going to be? Now both denominators are the sine. So the top is going to be cosine squared plus sine squared. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's cosine squared plus sine squared? 1. So we have 1 over sine, which is okay, but what would be better? What's 1 over sine? Cosine. 1 over sine is fine. Okay? So what do we do here? We changed into sign, changed into our fractions, and then we had to get a common denominator. Okay? Alright, that's number 1. Your test, remember, your test looks just like this. So you're going to have to do a couple of these. One will probably look like that, and one will probably look like that. Okay, what's number 2? Number 2 is solve the triangle. So when I solve my triangle, I have to figure out what is missing. Alright, so I need angle A, I need side B and side C. Now, see the blanks over here? This is what you need. All these blanks are worth the same amount of points, but one of them is simple. Which one is the simple one? Angle A. So how big is angle A going to be? 80 degrees. Okay. Easy. Now, I hope that when you sit back and look at this problem, I hope you notice something. Did you notice something?
Yeah.
Right here? What's that? That's a pair. Sine 80. Did he drop something off, or what would he just do? I hope it was his. Sine 80 over 10 equals sine what? 53 over C. Kids, it doesn't matter, because you're also gonna have to do sine 80 over 10 equals sine 47 over B. You gotta do both of those. Are we clear on that? All right, so we've done a lot of these. I'll multiply out the first one, but we really need to be able to type these in ourselves without my coaching. I think you can. In fact, while you are doing that, while you are finding those things, I'm gonna see if I have some papers to hand back here to you. Particularly, I need something for mold on. All right, so keep going, keep working, and then tell me what you come up with as answers. You got them already, Avery?
Yep.
Lola, I do not have that. So check your papers again to see if I stapled it to something when I returned it, maybe.
I mean, it's marked 0 in the, in Power School.
Yeah, so that's what I do when you don't take it.
I know, I did take it though.
Okay, so what I'm saying to you is, then you need to find the returned paper. Because it's possible I returned it and didn't put it in,
Okay.
okay?
I'll look.
So see if you have the returned paper. All right, so what did we come up with here? Anybody come up with any answers? What did you get for C? 8.11. And what about B? 7.43. Now, I did not type those in. Are the rest of you in agreement? Perfect. Problem 2, or B. Another solve the triangle problem. But this one is a little bit different. Because why? Why is this one a little bit different from the one we just did? Okay. Not only do I only have one angle measure, but I do not have a pair. And if I don't have a pair, then I'm not using the law of sines. So this is gonna have to be a law of cosines problem. And actually, it's just like the one that was on your quiz, at least the first part of it is. Because aren't we solving for D? So over here is gonna be D squared, and out here is gonna be cosine 42. And then in the middle is gonna be my 18 squared and my 23 squared minus my 2, 18, 23. That's my law of cosines. And this one, because it's set up with the variable already by itself, this is an easy one to type in. This is one of the easy ones. So we just type 18 squared. Don't forget to take the square root. That happens all the time. People forget. I got 15.42. What about you? Now, why am I excited at this point? Because now I have a pair, and I can set up my law of sines. So here we go. Always start with your pair. Sine 42 over 15.42 equals, I don't know, sine f over 18. Is that okay? Now, because I'm solving for an angle, this time when I type it in, aren't I going to have to do something special when I type it in? It's going to be second sine. So angle F is going to be second sine this big fraction. So second sine 18 sine 42 close parentheses divided by 15.42. I got 51.36. Anybody else get that? And once you know two angles, then we're back to Easyville. We'll just subtract from 180. I got 86.64. Match you. Oh. Okay, so what do we have on our test? We have two problems where you're gonna have to solve the whole triangle. And everything you do is gonna be law of sines or cosines, depending on what's appropriate. Okay? Got it? Mitchell? Okay. All right, number 3. How many triangles are possible? Well, what are our possible answers? 0, 1, or 2. All right, so here we go. The first one is this. Hopefully, when you look at these guys, you see a pair. Do y'all see a pair? So that's going to be a law of sines. So here you go. Am I going to have to second sign this? Absolutely. Your variable, you're looking for an angle, you're trying to find angle C. So you're going to have sine C equal to 18 sine 58 over 6. So you have to second sign that big fraction. Something about that doesn't seem right. Did you get an error?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? No triangles possible. Got an error? Moving on. Jersey, you got it?
Yeah. I mean, how do you? Okay, I don't know when to second sign it.
Okay, who can tell her? When do I have to second sign? Declan? When you're finding an angle. See where this is sine C? That's this angle. I'm finding that angle. Anytime I'm finding that angle, I'm gonna have to second sign.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done with that one. No solution, move on. Now, isn't the setup for this one gonna be exactly the same situation?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So sine 62 over 19 equals sine C over 12. So go ahead, see if you can work this out. get 33.89?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the minute I got an answer, then I am immediately going to check to see if I could have exactly the same triangle, the 62, the 12, and the 19, but with a new angle C. And that new angle C is 180 minus the original, so 146.11. How do I find that second potential angle? 180 minus the first one. So then I say, okay, would it be possible in a triangle to have my original 62 and 146? No. Because what's 62 plus 146?
More than
I don't know, but it's more than 180. So that won't work. So how many triangles are possible? One. One more. Same setup. Sine 45 is to 17, as sine C is to 19. All right, find angle C for me. All right, anybody find it yet? Avery, what you got?
I got two triangles.
Oh, excuse me. What'd you get for angle C?
Oh, sorry. I didn't write it down.
Well, here, be sure you write it down because that's what I'll be checking. When it says show work, that's the work that I'll be checking, so be sure you write that down, okay? All right, so tell me what you got.
52.21.
Kennedy's up here nodding.
52.21. I'm sorry. 45. You know something?
Okay, so what did you say it was?
52.21.
52.21.
2.
So angle C works out to be 52.21. Now, the minute that happens, I'm going to try the same given, 45, 19, 17, but this time, angle C is going to be 180 minus my original, so 127.79. And then I stand back and say, is it okay that I have that many degrees in my triangle? And I can't, because these two do not make more than 180. So how many triangles are possible? That one and that one, so that is two. Okay?
This is yours, sorry.
If you do not show work, and like for example, for this problem right here, this was B. I need to see that and that, because that tells me you knew what you were doing.
Do you have to do both triangles?
Yes. Because otherwise, how will you know if one works and one doesn't?
Well, what is it? Get that, can't you subtract it from when you do the triangle?
Yeah, but I want to see that. All right, here we go. Next page, we're finding the area of the triangles. Okay? So, this, you just took a quiz over this. This should be easy for you. What pops into your head when you see that triangle and you have to find the area? I hope you're thinking Hero's formula. So what does Hero's formula require? That's the one, remember, that is the big radical. There's 4 numbers under the radical. And what goes in that very first spot?
Semi-perimeter.
Semi-perimeter. So first we're gonna find the perimeter, which is what? 22. So the semi-perimeter is
11.
11, and that's the number that goes right here.
Dang it. Oh, I forgot to put parentheses on the first number.
You don't need them.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Okay, now, these are all 11 minus each side. Do not put 6, 9, and 7 in those, that's not what goes there. 11 minus 9, 11 minus 7, 11 minus 6, in any order. Multiply them all together, take the square root, and your area is 20.98.
So maybe I take it
Okay? Now again, you guys know how old I am. How many millions of these have I graded? Millions. I know what mistakes are made. 22 has no place in this problem. You need half of it, 11. And then these sides, these numbers right here are not the sides. It's 11 minus each side. All right, Ashlyn, quit holding your head. Only I can do that when I grade your papers.
Only one.
All right, here we go. Find the area. Find the area. Well, I'm not doing it this way. Right? So what am I doing? Now, my job is to find the area. Ellie said law of cosines. Stop right there. Can I do the law of cosines on this triangle?
Yeah.
I can. But what would the law of cosines find for me?
Aside.
A side. Am I looking for a side? No. I am looking for the area. Can I find the area of this triangle?
Oh,
Yeah.
wasn't it 1/2?
1/2
Dang, I missed that.
times 18 times 11 times sine 41. Did you say you forgot the 1/2?
Yeah, I knew
Okay,
that.
all right, and that's okay. We're not gonna forget it again, because remember, go all the way back to 7th grade. When you found the area of a triangle, and now it was 1/2 base times height, every area formula has a half in it. Now, kids always say, well, what about hero? Hero has a half in it because you take half the perimeter. Every triangle formula for area is gonna have a half in it somewhere. Okay? All right, so what that's just to type in. So,
Probably, yeah. All of it.
I got 64.95. Now, we had one of these yesterday. I don't know if we got this one yesterday. Maybe we did. Let's look at this one. Now, the directions are the same. Find the area. Something bothers me about this problem. What bothers me? Declan? I only have one side. And to do hero, I need 3 sides. And to do 1/2 side sine, I need 2. So now, Ellie, we're gonna find a side. Now we're gonna find a side. Don't I need 2? And how am I gonna find a side?
Law of sines.
Law of sines. So sine 67 over 15 equals sine 58 over L. Now, you could also find this angle and do sine that over this. It's up to you. All right, tell me what L is. Type it in, cross multiply, divide, figure it out. What's L? Declan? 13.82. 13.82, I need confirmation on that since I didn't do it.
I got a different answer.
Uh-oh, she got a different answer.
I got 13.35.
35.
Yeah, I got 13.82.
All right, here we go.
I got different.
Oh. Yeah, I got 13.35 too.
I got 55. What the heck?
What the heck is right?
8 too.
I
Wait,
did everything right.
15 sign.
13.81.
Oh.
That's what I got.
Wait, no.
I got
55, girly.
Well,
What
it's
is it?
13,
Oh,
it's 13.819, which would round off to 13.82. So Declan is right.
Oops.
Now you guys need to double check.
I just got the whole number wrong.
It's right here, 13.82.
What did you get?
I got 35.
Yeah, well, wait, no,
I got 82.
If you find that, you can
all right,
either shoot
now,
out.
after all that conversation,
Yeah.
we all type this in, cross multiply, divide, hopefully we all got 13.82. That is not the answer to the question. Remember, we're supposed to be finding area. Now I have two sides. So my area will be 1/2, 15, times 13.82, times the sine of the angle between those two sides. You can't use 58 and you can't use 67. You have to use the angle that's between the two sides. Got it, people?
Mm-hmm.
So I need to find that angle. What's that angle?
55.
55. Got it by subtracting. And that will be the area. Sincere?
If I would have did for the lowercase m,
Yep.
it'll be the same answer.
It'll be the same answer, exactly. But your setup will be 1/2, 15, that, and then sine 58. Yeah, the answer will be the same.
What if you like want to try to find all? If you try to find all the sides,
Here's the problem with finding all the sides. You could find all the sides for sure. But here's the problem with that. When you rounded that off, that showed up one time here. So this is a little bit rounded off because of that. If you did Hero's formula, it shows up in this number, this number, this number, and that number. The round off shows up everywhere. So then you multiply all that round, I mean, it just kind of builds up. So let's only, I will count off the round off error, okay? Let's only use Hero's formula if we are given all three. Otherwise, use a different strategy. All right, one more page, guys. Here we go.
Oh, what was it? I got 84.
Oh no, I didn't. So 1/2 times 15 times 13.8
Sorry.
No, you're good.
times sine 55. My area was 84.91.
Yep.
All right, all of the practice tests have 4 word problems, but your test will only have 3, okay? So we'll do all 4 for practice, but on test day, you'll only be doing 3. All right, so here we go. Draw a picture, write an equation to solve. So here we go. Kids, there are points for the picture, there are points for the equation, and there's points for the answer. So let's be sure we do all the parts. We have a parallelogram whose sides measure 18 and 14. The larger angle is 124. Okay, a piece of information that's going to come in handy, you need to remember. In a parallelogram, these two angles, look where I'm pointing right here, these two angles always add up to 180. These are parallel lines. So if that's 24, I automatically know this one is 56. Now, I may or may not need that, but if I do, I have it. It's 56, okay? Now, when I have a parallelogram, and I want to talk about the diagonals, these are called the diagonals, right? And there's 2 of them. There's this one, and there's this one. they are not equal. One of them is longer than the other one. Just use your common sense eyeballing. I want the shorter diagonal. So is this the short one,
No.
or is this the short one? This is the short one, right? Right here, isn't that line shorter than this one would be? So this is what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna erase that 124. I don't need it, it's been sliced. It has not been sliced in half. Don't make that assumption. Just get rid of it, you don't need it. And we're gonna find how long that is. That right there, we're gonna find out how long that is. Now, I know what you're thinking, as I think it myself. I think 1/2, 14, 18, sine 56. Wrong thing to think. Because what does that do for you? Area. This is not about area. This is about finding that length. To find lengths, I use law sines or law cosines. This is a cosine problem. You don't know any pair, guys. So you're gonna put x squared over here, and you're gonna put cosine 56 over here. And 14 squared plus 18 squared is 2 times 14 times 18. Since my variable is over here, can I just type all that in? Yep, type it all in. Hit square root, don't say that part. I got 15.43 and I need a unit on that, inches.
Since I got those within the area for the next one, you could just like how 18, fine.
Okay, now, the next question says, take the same parallelogram, I'm gonna draw the rest of it in there, and find the area of it. So, Kennedy, what's your thought?
Can you just find the area of one triangle and times it by 2?
Absolutely. So, what's the area of this triangle gonna be? Look what you got here. Now I'm gonna do 1/2 side, side, side. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 14, 18 sine 56. But the area of the parallelogram will be 2 of those. So, 14, I got 208.92. And that is square inches. Remember, area is always square units.
Those things are.
Hmm? Hmm? Hurry up. All right, number 3. Everybody okay with this? All right, number 3. We have a regular octagon inscribed in a circle. So here's my circle. What does octagon mean? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Connect the hashes. Okay, there's my octagon with a radius of 22. So remember, when you draw your radius, it's going to a hash mark. It's going to a corner of the octagon. Now, you can draw them all in. You don't need them all. You only need one triangle. Because what do we know about all those triangles? They are the same. So if I can find the area of a triangle, my octagon will just be 8 of those, 8 times that. how do I find the area of the triangle? Well, I have two sides. Wouldn't it be awesome if I knew that angle? Can I find that angle? Pretty easily, actually, because all of these angles are the same, right? And look at me, when I'm dotting them around, it's making a circle, right? So that's 360, divided up into 8 equal pieces. So that angle is 45. So the area of that triangle is 1/2, 22, 22, sine 45. Would you agree with that? I'm gonna type that on my calculator. And then I'm not gonna write down that answer, I'm just gonna hit times 8. And it's, oh, big. It's 1,368.96 square centimeters. Anybody else get that big of a number? That's the answer.
But it's, I'm just a little confused, but it says perimeter.
Number 3's from.
Oh, crap! Okay, I did 4.
Oh, okay.
I did 4. Alright, I did 4. Sorry about that, you're right. I didn't even read it. Okay, we're exactly right. So I just did problem 4. So draw a circle around that, draw it down to 4. That was 4. Now I gotta find perimeter. Okay, so what's perimeter mean? Perimeter means distance around, right? Now, I don't know anything except all of these sides are the same, right? So if I can find one of them, I'll call it X here. I'm looking for that side right there. If I could find that side, I could times it by 8, and that would be my perimeter. So let's look at that triangle. How can I find the length of that side?
Law of cosine.
Law of cosines, right? Law of cosines. So, x squared over here is cosine 45. And in between is 22 squared plus 22 squared minus 2 times 22 times 22. So this is problem 3 now. This is number 3. We did 4, I did 4, accidentally, wrongly. And now we're doing 3. So, I can figure out what that is. Hopefully I did this right. I got 16.84. Anybody else get that? I'm just gonna leave it on my calculator, don't round it off. I'm just gonna leave it on my calculator and say times 8. Because all of the sides are that long, so I'm gonna add them all up. So my final perimeter of my octagon is 134.70. So I wrote this number down, but I really don't want you to use that number. I want you to use what's on your calculator. Just hit times 8. Is that okay? Thank you for catching that, Avery and everyone else. Everybody clear on my mistake I made? Okay, so area. Huh?
That was the first one we made a big mistake.
Oh, honey. No, it's not.
In this class.
Okay, all right, so practice test 1, we'll try to finish that. Next time we'll do 2. And if we get all the way through 2, we'll